Hi, I'm Rachel from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about block 4 of the Cascade Yarns Diagonal Afghan. Alright, so here we have the beautiful block 4. I love this square because it begins in the center out actually with this circle here in the middle, and then you work the 4 quadrants out from there, which is a really fun construction, especially compared with all the other squares that we've done so far. So that's going to be a really neat, different technique for you guys to learn. What I'm going to show you here is how to do this center cast on method. There's also a special bind off method here that I will also show you. And then all the other stitches in the square are pretty basic knits, purls, and regular decreases and increases, but I will show you how to do the double decrease that is in this pattern. So I'm going to start with the cast on, and then we will move on to the double decrease and the bind off. So let me get this guy out of the way. All right, so to do the cast on, I've got my DPNs here and a crochet hook. So because this square is knit center out, you're gonna do the whole thing in the round. And so you'll want a nice set of DPNs for once you get it cast on, and then the crochet hook is used for doing the circular cast on. And then eventually you might want to move to a circular needle, like a 16-inch cord would probably be good. If you have long enough DPNs, you might even be able to stay on DPNs for the entire square. Totally up to you, personal preference, of course. For the circular cast on though, we are going to take our crochet hook and your yarn and go ahead and wrap it around 2 fingers. So you're wrapping, the working yarn is towards the inside of your hand, and then the tail is towards the outside of your fingers. Okay, and you're gonna kind of grab it like that. And I like to sort of take the tail and sort of grab it with my pinky to hold tension. You could wrap it around a couple of your fingers, whatever is easiest for you. And then we're going to be ready to go ahead and start making our loops. I'm going to hold my loop steady on my finger down here with my thumb because I find that that's the easiest way. Just make sure your working yarn is on the inside because you want to be pulling that up under the loop of yarn, which is around your fingers here. Okay, so take your crochet hook, grab a loop like that, and that you went underneath the loop around your fingers. And then after you get that on there, oops, let me kind of pull that back. You're going to go over the top of the loop and grab another. Sorry, I'm also not a crocheter, so please bear with me while I'm trying to make this work. Okay, and then you've made a single stitch on your crochet hook. And then the loop will stay around your fingers. If you find that it's getting a little bit too loose, just go ahead and pull on that tail and it'll tighten it up on your fingers. Okay, so after you do that, you are ready to go ahead and make another stitch and go under this loop, grab the working yarn, and then go ahead and grab another, go over the top of the loop and grab another loop and then pull that through. So that's kind of making a crochet stitch like you normally would. The difference here is that you are leaving these stitches live on your crochet hook. So you can see I've got 2 of them on there. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of get a move on here and keep making my stitches. And you can kind of move your hand around in whatever way helps you hold tension on the loop and also continue to make the stitches. So I'm going under to grab the working yarn and then over to grab the working yarn again, and then pulling it through the loop. So now I've got 5 stitches on there. Go under and then over and pull the loop through. Okay, under, grab the loop and over. And I'm going to kind of pull this loop a little bit tighter just to keep it from getting in my way. You can see as you go, you can see I've got this loop of yarn. This loop is the one that is sitting around my fingers. And then the tail, of course, is pretty much out of the way now. So you can kind of let that hang out back there. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches, so 4 more to go. So I'm going to go under, grab a loop, and then grab another and pull that through, under, grab the working yarn, and then over and grab it again. Uh-oh, don't go through the loop though, through the stitch next to it. Okay, under, grab it, over, and pull through. I think that's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, one more. Under, and then through. Okay, so here's what that looks like. You've got 12 stitches on your crochet hook, and this is your tail, which if you pull it just a little bit, you'll see that it tightens really easily. Don't pull it too tight just yet. And then this is your working yarn. So from here, we are ready to transition over to double pointed needles. So for me, what I like to do is just go ahead and get all of the stitches off of the crochet hook. So I'm going to slip all of these, just like you're purling, so you don't want to twist it, off of the crochet hook. Okay, so now we're off the crochet hook onto the needle, and then you're gonna just divide these stitches over four DPNs, just like you normally would. So go ahead and slip these over, 2, 3, 4, and then oops, I did 3. It's okay to do 3 or 4 depending on what your preference is. Well, actually for the pattern, let's go ahead and let's do 3 on each needle. So 3, because we are knitting this in quadrants. So you're going to want to do 3, 3, and 3 so that you are following the instructions as written. I'm going to set this down because it gets a little bit funky. Okay, so we've got them all on the needles. This is the point where you will grab the tail. Find it. So you can grab the tail and cinch up that hole. So just pull this tight, and you can see it closes it into a nice circular hole in the middle. And now you are ready to continue knitting in the round. All right, so that is how you do the circular cast on. All right, so the only stitch that I'm gonna show you for this square is the S2KP. And this is a double decrease, so it's actually pretty easy. It's built on a knit 2 together foundation. So let me just get a couple stitches into my swatch and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so to do the S2KP, you are going to insert your right needle as if you're knitting 2 stitches together. So go ahead and put that needle into those 2 like that, but don't actually knit them. Just slip them right over to the right needle. They're going to be twisted and look a little like wrapped around each other on the needle, but it's supposed to look that way. And then you will knit the next stitch like so. And then you're going to take your left needle and grab those 2 slipped stitches and pull them over the top of the stitch that you just knit. And what that does is it creates a centered decrease. It looks really nice when you've got like strong lines of patterning like you do on this square. So that's how you do that. Let me just show you one more time. You take your right needle, insert it into 2 stitches as if you're going to knit them together, and then slip them over to the right needle, knit 1, and then pass those 2 slip stitches right over the top like that. Okay, so that is the only stitch that is a little bit different for this square that you need to see. Now the other thing I want to show you is the Icelandic Bind Off. And I'm just going to kind of start that right here in the middle of my swatch. The way you do this is you knit 1 like that, and then you are going to slip that knit 1 back over to your left needle, and then you're going to insert your right needle purlwise into the front of that stitch, but don't do anything with it, and then go into the second stitch knitwise, and you're kind of pulling that through the loop of the first stitch when you do that. And then go ahead and knit that stitch, and then pull both of these loops from the first and the second stitch. Pull both of them off the needle like that. Okay, so let's slip this back over here. And you're doing this always slipping it purlwise because you don't want to twist your stitches as you're going. So all the slip stitches that you're doing back and forth between these needles are going to be purlwise. So again, let's go into the front of the stitch as if to purl, and then go into the back of the stitch, or I guess not into the back, but into the stitch as if to knit the second stitch. And then you're going to knit it and pull both loops off of the needle. Slip this guy back over to the left needle, go into it as if to purl, and then into the next stitch as if to knit, knit it, and drop both loops off the needle. So slip it back over, purl, knit, and then actually knit it and pull it off the needle. Let's do a couple more. Purl, knit, actually knit it, and then pull off the needle, slip it back over, and you go purl, knit, and then slip it off. So you can see here in the middle of my swatch, I've got this really lovely cast on line going on, and I'll actually pull the swatch back in to show you guys that one more time. So you can see you get this really lovely line for the cast on, which just is a nice finishing touch for a square like this. It also gives it some nice stretch too, because with a square that is center out, you're going to want to have enough stretch that you can make it meet the other squares for the seaming part. So that's how you do that bind off. All right, so that was everything you need to know about block 4 of the diagonal Afghan. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. And I'm Rachel from Jimmy Beans Wool. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing because we have a lot more yarn reviews, tutorials, and other fiber fun like that. Happy crafting!